In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to import a project plan or any data you have in Excel into ClickUp. I made a very simple example for illustration purposes, but this is how a spreadsheet needs to be formatted to properly import into ClickUp. We need a column for all of the different pieces of data we want to bring in. So here we've got task name, description, due date. These are all standard fields in ClickUp. I'm going to change this for the sake of our example. I'm going to call this really important. We'll call this super important, and I'm going to call this one meh, just for fun. So these are custom fields that we'll be able to map once we do the import. We have assignee. So again, just for this simple example, this is how the spreadsheet needs to be formatted. Now, if we go here, this is one of the example project plans that I've taken and put into ClickUp. You could see here, though, the formatting is very different. This type of spreadsheet will not directly import into ClickUp, unfortunately. So I'm going to do a separate video to show you how I manually translated this spreadsheet into ClickUp. But for the sake of the example today, we're going to use this spreadsheet. So I'm doing this in my workspace, so I don't put any of the custom fields and extra data in, but the process is the same. So you're going to go to your header and then go to settings, and then you're going to find import and export. Then we will go to start import. Here, we're going to select Excel. If you had data in any of these other project management platforms, you could bring that in through the out-of-the-box integration, but we're going to just do this. So here you also have the option to paste into the table, but I'm going to import my spreadsheet to make it easier. So ClickUp is thinking. All right, we're going to continue. Here we need to map the fields and tell ClickUp where the data needs to go. So here, task name, it mapped this pretty straightforward. So these options here are going to be our standard fields. If ClickUp doesn't recognize any of these, we're going to include them as a custom field. So I'll show you that. So we're going to confirm the task name is correct, the description mapping is correct, the due date mapping is correct. Now here is where we get to have some fun with the priority. So really important, we're going to map this to high in ClickUp. Super important, we're going to map to urgent, and meh, we'll just call that a low priority, and we'll confirm that mapping. Department. So ClickUp's now telling us we don't know where to put this. So now I'm going to say include this as a custom field. You don't need to pick the custom field yet. If it's a field that already exists in your workspace, you'll be able to map the data. If it's brand new, you'll have to create a new one, but ClickUp gives you the option in the import. So we'll confirm that. Here, this is a budget field. ClickUp is telling us that it's a time estimate. So I'm going to say include this as a custom field. Here we also have a mishap. This is not a list, this is a link. So I'm going to include that as a custom field. Oh, I need to confirm our budget mapping, confirm this one, and task assignee, that is correct too. So we're going to confirm that and hit review. ClickUp has uploaded it, it has matched everything. We can see, do we have any rows with problems? Nope. And then we're going to scroll down and hit continue. So we'll submit. So now ClickUp is going to ask us, where do we want to import this? ClickUp is going to make a new list for every import, and it's going to call it imported from Excel or CSV. But we need to tell ClickUp where to put this. So I'm going to put it in my sandbox for now. Do we have any columns separated by delimiters? So let's say a task has more than one assignee. Maybe it has more than one department if it's a label. In your CSV, you would need to separate that either with a comma or some other keyboard delimiter. So here I don't have anything with multiple objects, so I'm going to keep this unchecked. Date format, we're going to keep this month, day, year, and I'm going to hit next. Now is where we get to map our custom fields. So department. If you need to create a brand new custom field, you would select the drop down, and then it's going to create the fields based on what was in the cells. But I'm going to see if I have something in my custom field library first. So I'm going to type in department, And look at that. This is a mess. We've got all these different departments already, but I'm just going to pick this one to use. Now we get to map the individual options. And this doesn't match. So if we were doing this for real, we'd say, I guess that was the wrong department. So let's go back. And this is why naming custom fields very specifically for what they are is really important. So here we'll go to that one. This one's closer, but that one doesn't match. But for the sake of this example, I'm just going to pick this one. So marketing will be operations, HR will be management, and IT will be support. So that's that field. Budget. I'm 99% sure we've got a field for budget. So there we go. We're going to use that field. We're going to select US dollars. Link. I'm pretty sure I have a link field. So I'm going to go to website and I'm going to find my field called link and I'm going to use that. I'm going to hit next. Now we're going to map our assignees. So Jackie for an assignee, I'm going to pick me. Jason for an assignee, I'm going to pick Jason and I'm going to hit complete. Now we wait. All right, our import is completed. So we go back to our workspace and go to where we told it to put it. We've got imported from CSV. It is a very, very informative name. So I'm going to rename this and I don't know. I'm just going to call this test project import. Now you can see we have our task. If we click into this, it's going to have the assignee, the due date we put, the priority, and the description, and any custom fields. So from here, we can go, this is a good, excuse me, a good thing to note too. We need to set our statuses. So if we come back to our sidebar, right now our only statuses are open and closed. You can see that because if we click, when I clicked on that circle, it disappeared. So open and close are our only statuses. So we can go to our statuses and say, I either want to inherit from the space, which will probably be a good option. And I'll hit apply. And anything that's open is I want to remap to do. Anything closed, I'll remap to, I'll say done. And now we've got our imported list.